13, 14, 15, 16. The whole unit is removed.
I guess so. I wrote it as deleted. Totally.
I can't hear you.
Unit 5 totally is deleted, I guess so. It's still there.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's start from the beginning only. Okay. So the first chapter is reproduction in organisms. Okay. Can you tell me what is reproduction? Like, tell me in a layman language, like what is the reproduction?
In this sense.
Okay, see, the word reproduction, it refers to the production of offspring, isn't it? Meaning,
Mhm.
yes. So the parents, what they do, they make the offspring of their own. And this happens in the lower organisms also, as well as in the higher organisms also. Okay. In this,
Okay.
first we shall know about the lifespan. Okay, that what is lifespan? Now, this is the most shortest and the easiest chapter of this book. Okay, it is the easiest. You love it. Why? Because it is so tiny and it is like everything is very easy. So first of all, let us talk about what is a lifespan. So see, the time from when the life starts up till the time where the life ends, meaning when the person dies, that whole time period is known as a lifespan. Meaning, lifespan is the period from birth to the natural death of an organism. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So you write down the period from birth to natural death of an organism is its lifespan. Okay. And see, here they have said that it is the natural death. It does not mean that if a person dies by accident, for example, if a person like he or she is aged 30 years old, okay, and then suddenly he or she dies by any car accident or any sort of accident, does that mean that up till that time was the lifespan of that person? Do you
Isn't
think
it?
so?
Isn't it also supposed to be?
I can't hear you at all.
It's also the years the life means that person has lived right now.
See, for example, if a person is now 35 years old, okay, and then
Mm.
after being 35 years old, he or she met with an accident because of which he or she died. So if you like from the period of that person's birth up till 35 years of age, is that the lifespan of that organism or that human? If
Yeah.
that human is dying by accident, then is that considered as lifespan?
No, ma'am.
No, it is not. Why? Because only the time period up till the natural death. Okay. Had he or she not met with an accident, then he or she would not die, isn't it? The person wouldn't have died, and he would have died when maybe getting us like old or due to some illness or anything. So you can say that any natural death, okay, that is considered as a lifespan, meaning the time period, the whole years from the birth up till the natural death of an organism is known as its lifespan. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Now let's think about this. Okay, I'm asking you a question, you answer me. Okay. For example, there is, okay, do you think that the lifespan, it depends on the size or height of the person?
No.
No, right? Not
No,
at
ma'am.
all. Had it been that case, then the smaller people would have died first. The larger people might have lived, isn't it? But
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
not the case. Yes. So the lifespan, it does not depend upon the size of the organism. Okay. So you write down, it does not, it does not depend upon the size of the organism. Okay. It does not at all depends on the size of the organism. Okay. So you can say that, like, for example, crow and parrot, these are two birds, isn't it? Both of them are birds, and both of them almost are equal in size, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. But their lifespans are very different from each other. Even after being the same size, their lifespans are different. Did you get it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now, there is a very important line that says, no organism is immortal. No organism is immortal. What does this mean?
Means they'll definitely come to a death.
Yes. Meaning any organism that has been born, it has to die. But there is an exception to this. So the exception is the single celled organism. Okay, the single celled organism. Now, what happens in the case of single celled organisms? For example, if this is the cell of the organism, okay, so in the single cell, this one cell only will divide into two daughter cells. Okay, so in a way, you can say that this cell only is present here also and here also. It just got halved and divided into two parts, isn't it? And
Mm.
same way, when, like, if we talk about this particular cell, it will again divide into two. This one will also divide into two. So here we can see that the original organism from where we started, meaning the original single cell organism, is still continued through many generations, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So this is the reason why there is no single cell organism that is immortal. All the single cell organisms are mortal. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it means, see what happens in the case of single cell organism, it just means that they will not die because they are in one way present in the world because of the reproduction or division. Okay, isn't
Yes,
it?
ma'am.
Yes. And talking about any other organism, be it, you can say plants, be it animals, be it humans, all of us are mortal, meaning will die, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yes, only the single celled organisms are immortal. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Do you have any doubts up till now?
No, ma'am.
Okay. See, like in the book, there has been given certain lifespans of organisms, so you note it down. Okay. So maybe this can come in the MCQs. So for just that case, so you write down first elephant. Okay. Elephant has a lifespan of 60 to 90 years. Okay. Then
Okay.
we have rose. Okay, the rose plant, it has the lifespan of 5 to 7 years. Okay. Then
Okay.
talking about a dog. Okay, same way, dog has 20 years of lifespan. A butterfly, okay, a butterfly has 1 to 2 weeks, only weeks. Okay. Talking about the crow, the lifespan of a crow is 15 years. Then talking about a banana tree. All these examples are given in the book. Maybe sometimes in the MCQs, the lifespan may be there, like the lifespan of particular organism. They'll give you 4 options. You'll have to choose one. Okay. Yeah. So the lifespan of banana tree is 25 years. Then the lifespan of cow is 20 to 25 years. Then after cow, there is parrot. Okay. Parrot has 140 years. Then there is crocodile. The lifespan of crocodile is 60 years. Then there is horse. Okay, see, I don't think so. Learning so many lifespans is necessary, isn't it? But even if it isn't, but you should still like pay attention, like give it a quick skimming, and that's all it's required. You don't have to mug it up, okay? Don't waste time in learning the lifespan, okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Fruit fly has a lifespan of only 2 weeks. Then rice plant has a lifespan of 3 to 4 weeks. Yeah, 3 to 4 weeks. Then tortoise. This has a lifespan of 100 to 150 years. Okay, and then finally a banyan tree. Okay, it has a lifespan of 200 to 300 years. Okay, so have you noted it down? Do you want to copy this one?
No.
Okay. All right. Are you done noting it down?
1 minute down. 2 more lines. Yes, ma'am.
Now let us talk about reproduction. Okay. So reproduction, it is first of all, it is a biological process through which an organism gives rise to its young ones. Okay. So you write down reproduction is a biological process process through which an organism gives rise to young ones. Okay, young ones, or you can also call them as offsprings. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
this is, yes, this is the definition of reproduction. Now, if we talk about the different types of reproduction, so there are two types of reproduction. Okay, do you know that? Do you know the two types of reproduction?
Um,
First is asexual reproduction. Okay,
Sexual reproduction. Yeah.
yes, sexual reproduction. Okay, now can you tell me one basic difference in between these two types of reproduction?
Uh, they'll reproduce singly asexual reproduction, and sexual reproduction need 2 or 3 to be.
Two or three? No,
I
not two.
mean two.
Yeah. See, in the case of asexual reproduction, only one parent is required. Okay. So here, only one parent participates. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now, this parent can either be the male or the female. Okay. It doesn't matter. But only one parent would participate. In the case of sexual reproduction, both the parents, okay, both the parents participates, meaning both the parents are involved. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So these are the two different types of reproduction. Now talking about the asexual reproduction. So in the case of asexual reproduction, since only one parent is involved, apart from that, whatever offspring that is made, okay, the offspring, they are known as clones. Okay. Offsprings formed are called as clones. CLONES, clones. Okay. And these offspring, why they are known as clone is because they are genetically and morphologically similar to the parents. Similar to the parents. Okay. This is the reason why they are known as clones. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now, what do you mean by genetically and what do you mean by morphologically? Can you explain those two terms to me?
Genetically with genes.
Yes, the genes, the involvement of the genes, the genetic makeup, you can say. Okay, good. And what about morphologically?
Morphologically,
Hmm? What?
I don't know.
Okay. See,
Because
morphological is the external appearance, okay, meaning how an organism looks like, okay, anything that is observable, that is, visible, that is morphologic features. So the clones that are formed or the offsprings that are formed as a result of asexual reproduction, they are the clones. Why? Because they are genetically, first their genes are exactly like their parents' gene, okay, similar to the parent because only one parent is, yeah. So genetically, why? Because the genes are exact copy of the parent. Now, they even exactly look like the parent. Is it clear?
okay.
Yes. So morphology means external observable features, whereas genetically means the internal genes, the internal genes and how they are arranged, that is genetically, and morphologically is the external observable features. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Now, you might see in your book, can you turn to page number 5?
Oh, yes,
Open
ma'am.
page, yeah, open page number 5. Did you open the book?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. In that page, you see the diagram B, which is given on the right hand side. The diagram B. This diagram is showing how reproduction takes place in the case of amoeba. Okay. Now, if you look at the two daughter cells, okay, and then look at the parent cell on the top, do you see that they are exactly similar to each other?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? There is no difference. You cannot differentiate in between them, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So it means that in case of the unicellular or lowermost organism or any organism wherein asexual reproduction is taking place, the offsprings that are formed are exact copy, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Just give me 1 second, okay? Just 1 second. Now you write down the different modes of asexual reproduction. Okay, give the heading as to different modes of asexual reproduction. Okay, the first one is binary fission. Okay, binary fission. Then after binary fission, there is budding. Okay, there is fragmentation. fragmentation. Okay, are you writing it down?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. After fragmentation, there is sporulation. There is sporulation. And finally, the fifth one is vegetative propagation. Okay, these are the 5 methods of asexual reproduction in different organisms. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now see, the diagram which I told you to look at, that diagram is of binary fission which is taking place in the case of amoeba. Okay. That is how the binary fission takes place in the case of amoeba. And what happens there? Basically, one cell of the parent is there. Okay. After that, in that parent cell, there is the division of nucleus started. Okay. The division of nucleus starts and sort of it starts separating from each other. And finally, when it reaches to the two sides, then a cytokinesis or a cell division takes place, which results in the formation of two daughter cells. So let us talk about binary fission. Let us talk about binary fission. See, this was amoeba, isn't it? Now, here is the nucleus. Okay, this is the nucleus. Now, after a while, in the case of amoeba, this nucleus starts dividing. Okay, it starts dividing, it enlarges in size. Okay, then it starts, you can say, elongating. Okay, and that process is shown by like this, meaning it goes to one side also, it is going to other side. Okay, it starts elongating. Now, after this process, this up till here, this process is known as karyokinesis, which means division of nucleus. Okay, so the division of nucleus is known as karyokinesis. Now, after this step, cytokinesis takes place, meaning the cell gets divided like this and two new cells are formed. Okay, meaning the genetic material or the nucleus that has been divided will be distributed one here and one here. So the daughter cells that are formed will have one nucleus each and it will be just like the parent. Okay, so after this, the whole process is known as cytokinesis, which means the division of the cytoplasm. Okay, and this is how the binary fission takes place in the case of amoeba. Okay, what is the name of the organism? It is amoeba. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Do you have any doubts up till now?
No, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So here we can see this process, okay, meaning wherein karyokinesis and cytokinesis, basically the whole process is mitosis. Do you remember from class 11, mitosis?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So that is mitosis. Is binary fission clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now you write down the language about it. Write down in this process, give the heading binary fission and under that you write down in this process, the parent organism divides into two halves.
The parent organism
Divides into two halves. Each half forms each half forms
form
an independent daughter organism. Each half forms independent daughter organism. Okay, so here is the parent cell dying.
is
What is happening to the parent cell?
It's dividing itself into two.
Yes. It means that in one way you can say that the daughter cells are the parent cells only, isn't it?
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
yes, the parent cell divided and the two structures that are formed are the parent cell only, just divided into. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So is karyokinesis, cytokinesis, binary fission, is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Now you write one more line that binary fission takes place in amoeba. Binary fission takes place in amoeba. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now let us move on to the second, which is budding. Okay, budding. Now, in the case of budding, see, budding commonly takes place in the east. Do you know east?
Yes, ma'am.
What is the east? Do you remember what type of organism yeast is? Hmm? No?
Well, we.
Yeast, do you remember fungi?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So yeast is a unicellular fungi. Okay. It is a
Yeah.
unicellular fungi. Okay. Now, let us talk about budding. So see, in case of budding, the reproduction takes place by the formation of a bud. Okay. So for example, if this is a parent cell, okay, it is a parent cell. Now, after a while, there would be an outgrowth on the body of the parent cell, like this. Okay, this will be an outgrowth, or you can call this outgrowth as a bud. Okay, now, slowly, what happens? See, first of all, it is like this. Okay, it is developing like this. Okay, then after a while, what happens? This bud starts separating from the parent. Okay. So for example, a wall formation is taken place, and after a while, when this bud will fall off, okay, for example, it is falling off here. Now, this will turn into the whole organism. Okay. And now you can see that this organism is just the exact copy of the parent, isn't it? So
Yes,
this is
ma'am.
the daughter cell. Okay, so this is how the process of budding takes place, meaning an outgrowth, which is known as a bud, is formed on the parent's body. And when that bud gets detaches from the parent's body, it grows into a whole organism. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So you write down about budding. In the process of budding, in the process of budding, a unicellular structure develops, an outgrowth. Okay, an outgrowth, full stop. This outgrowth is known as a bud. This outgrowth is known as a bud.
This outgroup.
This outgrowth is known as a bud. B-U-D, bud.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yes. Now you write down the bud grows. The bud grows and then separates from the parent cell. The bud grows and separates from the parent cell. Now, this bud would form a new organism. Okay, this bud will mature into a new organism.
Yes, ma'am.
Done? Yes. So that is the process of budding. Now, after that, let us talk about the third process. Like, is budding clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. See, if you have any doubts while I'm teaching, and sometimes I don't ask that if you have a doubt or not, you can ask me, okay? Don't feel shy. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you can ask me anything that comes to your mind. You have that liberty. Okay? All right. So let us talk about the third step, that is sporulation. Okay. What word comes to your mind when you talk about sporulation? Is there any word that is coming to your mind by reading this sporulation?
Pause.
Yes, exactly. So you write down sporulation. It takes place through spores. Okay. Obviously, very good. It takes place through spores. Now see what happens. The spores are of two types. Okay, if we talk about spores, they are of two. The first type is endogenous. Then there is exogenous. Okay, first type is endogenous and then there is exogenous. Now, do you know what is the meaning of endo and exo? Only the endo and exo.
Endo and exogenous.
Yes, only the meaning of those two, not the whole word. Just tell me the meaning of what is endo and what is exo. Hmm?
Means inside and exo is outside.
Yes. Endo means inside, exo means outside. Now see, the spores that are formed inside the body of the parent are known as endogenous spores, whereas the spores that are formed on the body, okay, on the body is known as exogenous. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
yes. So you write down beside endogenous the spores formed inside the body of the organism. Okay, and see, after endogenous you write down spores also. Endogenous spores are there, then exogenous spores are there. Okay, so endogenous spores are those spores that are formed inside the body of an organism. And what is the example? Example of endogenous spore. Okay, you write down the example is zoospores. Okay, zoospores of chlamydomonas. Okay, chlamydomonas. Okay, so the zoospores of chlamydomonas, they are endogenous, meaning they are present or they are formed inside the body of an organism. And write down one more thing, these spores are motile. The meaning of motile is that it can move from one place to another. It is movable. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now talking about the exogenous spores. So exogenous spores are those spores that are formed on the body of the organism. Right? So the spores formed on the body of the organism. Okay. Let us see what are the examples. So example of exogenous spore would be Conidia. Conidia is the name of the spore in penicillium. Okay, penicillium. Okay, and penicillium is a fungi. Okay, and Conidia is the name of the spore, and the zoospore is the name of the spore. Now, in the case of in the case of exogenous spores, they are non-motile. What is the meaning of non-motile?
Non-motile.
Yes, what is the meaning of non-motile? Non-motile means something that cannot move. Okay, like how the zoospores were motile. It means that they can move from one place to another, but conidia, they cannot move. Okay,
Okay.
is it clear up till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any doubts?
No.
Now let us look at the fourth type of asexual reproduction, that is fragmentation. Fragmentation. Okay. Now, in the case of fragmentation, what happens? The organism breaks into two. Okay. And those two parts develop into the new organism. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So you write down about fragmentation. It is the form of asexual reproduction. Okay, it is a form of asexual reproduction in which the organism splits into fragments. Okay, in which the organism splits into fragments. Okay, now after they split into the fragments, each of those fragments grow into a whole organism. Okay, so you write down each of these fragments grow into a new organism. Okay, here what is happening? The organism is there. The organism is breaking into certain parts or certain fragments, and now each of these fragments, the broken fragments, it can grow into a new organism, and this whole process is known as fragmentation. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now you write down, it takes place in, meaning the process of fragmentation as a asexual reproduction, it takes place in Spirogyra. Okay, it takes place in Spirogyra. Also, it takes place in the case of Hydra too. Okay, but you just remember Spirogyra. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, is the process of fragmentation clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, coming on to the last step of asexual reproduction. What was that? Do you remember? When I was like,
Vegetative.
yes, vegetative propagation. Okay, propagation, or you can also call it as vegetative propagation or vegetative reproduction. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now, in the case of vegetative propagation and reproduction, what happens is that it is most common in the case of plants. Okay. So when the different parts of the plants are used to grow a new plant, okay, that is known as vegetative propagation. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you might have seen, like, have you ever observed an onion? It starts growing that green leaf-like structures. Have you
Yes, ma'am.
noticed it? Yeah. Now, if you go and plant that onion, which has the green things coming out of it, it will turn into the whole onion plant. Okay. Why? Because that is the bulb, meaning that is the vegetative propagule, meaning that part of the plant or the onion is used to make a new plant. You getting it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So here you can say that in the case of vegetative propagation, some parts of the plants are used to make new organism, new plant. Write down. Okay, here a part of a plant, is used to make a new plant, okay? And any part that we are taking, if we are taking the stem or if we are using the root, so the parts, they are known as vegetative propagule. Okay, they are known as vegetative propagule. Means these are those parts that are actually used in the vegetative propagation. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now see, there are many different parts. You must know the names of those parts. So the first one, okay, if we are talking about, just one second, let me see how it is given in the insert. It's not given in depth, so we'll not do it in depth. Okay, see, here what happens, there are parts such as runners, okay, okay, then there are rhizome, okay, runners are there, rhizomes are there, then there is suckers, and then there is tuber, there is offset, okay, offset is there, and after offset there is bulb. Okay, so you can say that all of these are the vegetative propagules. Okay, these are the vegetative propagules, and let's see one example of each. Okay, so if we are talking about the runners, so this is the grasses can be grown by this. Okay, runners. Okay, if we are taking a rhizome, okay, so in the case of rhizome, ginger. Okay, ginger is grown like that. Then there is sucker. Okay, you're getting what I'm trying to say?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do you have any doubts up till now?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So if we are talking about the sucker, so here chrysanthemum. This is a plant. Okay, this is a flowering plant actually. Chrysanthemum. Okay, this is propagated through the sucker. Now, you might have seen in the potato, white structures start growing after a while, tiny white structures.
Yes, ma'am.
That like normal people call it as the eye of the potato. Have you seen that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So that is a tuber. Okay. So potatoes can be grown through the tubers. Okay. That is the outgrowth. That is the tuber. Okay. Then after that, there is offset. Okay. Offset is usually in, there is water hyacinth. This is a plant. Okay. Water hyacinth. Okay, these are the examples of the plants that can be grown with using all of these vegetative properties. Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
and then finally we have the bulb. So in bulb, I gave you the example of onion. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
yes. So with this, asexual reproduction is over. Okay, now see here in the case. Okay, there apart from this, another thing is that have you heard about a leaf which is known as bryophyllum?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So if you talk about the leaves of the bryophyllum, certain, you can say, buds grow on the leaf. Okay. And when that buds fall off, or they can arise into a new plant. Okay. So if we are using the leaves bud, then that is in the case of bryophyllum. Okay.
Yes,
That
ma'am.
is the case of bryophyllum. Yes. So this is how vegetative propagation takes place. Now, is it clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
The whole asexual reproduction is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any doubts anywhere or anything that you did not understood?
Ma'am, so illness is also Like if you're dying from illness is also natural death?
Yeah, see, not actually. Illness is again something, a cause of the death, isn't it? So that is not natural death. Illness is not natural death. Natural death is something like you're living, you're fine, and when the person suddenly just died. Okay, so that is the natural death. But if the person is dying due to some ailment, any illness or any accident, or is being murdered, then that is not a lifespan. Okay, that cannot
What
be
if
considered.
it's genetically transformed?
Genetically inherited disease.
Yeah.
Okay, good observation. Yeah, then we can say that that is the lifespan, because some genetic disorders, they are there that can say that the person can only live up to certain years, isn't it? Like in
Yes,
babies,
ma'am.
they say that the baby can only live up to 5 years of age. So then that is the lifespan. So then that you can call a lifespan. But in the case of anything that is accidental, okay, be it a road accident, be it any other thing. Okay, just imagine a person is, a person got eaten up by a bear or a lion. So will that be the natural death?
No.
No, right? So same way. But if a person, yes, if a person is born with a genetic disease, then that will be the natural death. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Any other thing?
Okay.
Okay. So can you quickly give me a recap of whole asexual reproduction and then the types? It doesn't have to be perfect. Just tell me whatever you learned up till now.
So, a reproduction is a production of ge- genetical lifespan.
Hmm?
Reproduction is
Yes, tell me about reproduction. Okay. The process of production of what are produced after reproduction?
a newly formed
Yes, the young ones, isn't it?
young ones.
Young
Yeah.
ones or the offspring. Yes. What are the two types of reproduction? I gave you the answer. What are
Uh,
the types? Yes.
Asexual and sexual reproductions.
Okay. Then can you tell me a difference between asexual and sexual reproduction?
Asexual, there is only one parent needed, participated, and sexual reproduction, two, both the parents are participated.
Yes, both the parents, not two, three, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. Now,
And
can you tell
then
me, yeah, the five different types of asexual reproduction? I'm counting it on my fingers. Come on, first one,
binary fission,
correct. Then,
budding,
hmm,
fragmentation,
hmm,
sporulation,
last one,
vegetative vegetative propagation or
vegetative
reproduction.
propagation. Propagation, okay,
Yeah.
propagated through vegetative parts of the plant, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Propagated means anything which is grown, okay. The word grown in the terms of plant, it is known as propagated, okay.
Okay.
Okay, so you don't have any doubts. Very good. Now let us move on to the sexual reproduction. This is the second type of reproduction, isn't it? Now
Yes,
here,
ma'am.
uh, yes, both the parents are involved in this case, isn't it? So
Yes.
here, okay, now my question to you is, since both the parents are involved in the case of sexual reproduction, will the offspring which is formed, will that be the clone or not?
No,
Okay, can you tell me why?
because both the parents are there, we cannot actually say it will be fully of that same parents.
Right, like a child and the offspring cannot exactly resemble any one of the parents, since both of them are involved, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so clones are not produced in the sexual reproduction. Okay, now you write down there are two events that are extremely important in the case of sexual reproduction. One is gamete formation, okay, and then the second process is gamete fusion. These two processes are like extremely important, okay. So you write down sexual reproduction involves sexual reproduction involves formation. Okay, sexual reproduction involves formation and fusion of gametes to form a zygote. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now this zygote, it develops into a new organism. Write down, the zygote develops into a new organism. Then
Yes, ma'am.
yes, yes. So we can say that the process of gamete formation. See, in the case of sexual reproduction, two gametes are involved. One is the male gamete, which comes from the male parent, and then there is the female gamete, which comes from the female parent. Okay. Now, when one male gamete and one female gamete, they fuse together, the formation of zygote takes place. Okay. A structure is formed, that is zygote, that is formed by the fusion of a male gamete with a female gamete. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And this zygote now will become a new organism. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now see, when I was telling you about the asexual reproduction, do you remember I said the word mitosis?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. But in the case of sexual reproduction, meiosis will take place. Do you remember mitosis and meiosis from class 11?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anyway, but you have to know that meiosis is involved in the case of sexual reproduction. Now you write down one more line. The offspring that are produced as a result of sexual reproduction are not
Are, ma'am?
identical to the parent. Okay, they are not identical to the parent. Okay, now you write down change the line and you write down the process of sexual reproduction. The process of sexual reproduction brings variations.
Brings?
Brings variations. Variations. Okay, it brings variations. It introduces new characters in the offspring. Okay, the process of variation happens, and during that, what happens? The introduction of new characters, they take place in the case of, we can say, sexual reproduction. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. See, when we were writing the asexual reproduction, there is one thing that is left out. See, in the case of sponges, okay, in the case of sponges, they reproduce by gemule formation. Okay. They reproduce by gemmules. Gemmules are sort of cup-like structures with the help of which the sponges reproduce. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Now talking about the sexual reproduction. See, in the case of sexual reproduction, you can divide different lifestyle, or you can divide different stages. Okay. So any organism that reproduces through the sexual method, has 3 phases. Okay, so you write the heading as phases in the life cycle. Okay, phases in the life cycle of the sexually reproducing organisms. Okay, let us see what are the phases. So the first phase that comes under the life cycle, it is the juvenile phase. First phase is the juvenile phase. After that, there is reproductive phase. Reproductive phase. And then lastly, there is senescent phase. Senescent phase. Okay. See, what happens in the case of juvenile phase? Do you know what is the meaning of juvenile in general? Hmm?
No.
Juvenile means young age. Okay. A young age. Okay. Meaning here, there is no maturity. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. So in the case of juvenile phase, you can also refer the juvenile case as the pre-reproductive phase. Pre-reproductive phase. Now, in the juvenile phase or the pre-reproductive phase, the organism matures slowly. It develops, it grows. It does not perform any reproduction in this phase. Okay. So juvenile phase is the phase wherein the organism is growing, it is maturing. Okay. That is the juvenile phase. Now, after the organism is matured, now the organism will enter into the reproductive phase. Now, what happens in the reproductive phase? Gametes are synthesized, reproduction takes place, new offsprings are formed. All of these events, they take place in the reproductive phase. Okay. Now,
Okay.
in the case of, yes, now after the reproductive phase is over, like when the plants have reproduced, plants or animals, anyone who have reproduced, okay, after that comes the senescent phase. Or you can call the senescent phase as the post reproductive phase. Okay, it happens after the whole age or the, you can say, the time period of the reproduction has been completed. Now here what happens? Finally, the organism, whether it is plant, whether it is like an animal or humans, whatever, slowly they would walk towards the old age. Okay, meaning they are now done with the reproduction. After that, now they are even maturing more and they are getting old with time. Okay, and then ultimately, after a while, all of the organisms, after reaching the senescent phase, they will die, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So these are the 3 phases that occur in the life cycle of sexually reproducing organisms. Is it clear up till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Now, see, there is another thing here is that, see, in the case of plants, now if we are talking particularly about the plants, there are 3 types of plants depending upon their lifespan. Okay, give the heading as types of plants depending upon the lifespan. Okay, what are the 3 types of plants? The 3 types is, first is annual plants. Okay, annuals are there. Then there is biennials. Okay, and then there is perennial. Okay, perennials, biennials, and annuals. These are the 3 types of plants depending upon the lifespan of the plant. Okay, Now see, here in the case of annual, do you know what is the meaning of annual in like general English? Hmm? Anything that occurs annually, what is the meaning of that? Hello, are you there? Deborah, are you there in the class?
Sorry, ma'am. I thought the mic was open.
Oh, okay. Yeah, say.
Once in a, like every once.
Once in a year, isn't it? Happening once in a year. Yes. So annual plants are those plants, they flower, like they produce flower. Okay, so they flower in one season and die. Okay, so
Yes, ma'am.
the annuals are those flowers that, see, those plants that flower in one season and then after that they die. Okay, now talking about the biennials. So the biennials, they flower every 2 years. Okay, every 2 years. Mean any plant that is a biennial, it will produce the flower every 2 years. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
and talking about the perennial, so these are the plants that, okay, they live more than 2 years. Plants that live more than 2 years. Okay, these are known as the perennial. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now, see what happens. See, flowering in the case of plants is the method of reproduction only. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, flowers are the reproductive organs of the plants. So, what happens in some plants, such as bamboo, okay, they would flower only once in their entire lifetime. Okay, and then after that flowering, they will not flower anymore. That is the case of bamboo. Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
now, yes, and after, like, they, like, see, they flower after 50 to 100 years. Okay, once 50 to 100 years, and then they would die. Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
yes. Now see, there is an example. Okay, let's, you write down about bamboo. Write down the bamboo plant. The bamboo plant flowers once in their lifetime. They flower once after 50 to 100 years, and then they die. Okay, so this is how the lifespan or the life cycle of a bamboo plant is. Okay, then after that, let's talk about another example. See, there is the example of strobilanthus. Okay, strobilanthus cynthiana. Okay, this is a plant. Okay, strobilanthus cynthiana. This is also known as Neel Kuranchi or Neela Kuranchi. Okay, so what is the peculiar or unique thing about this is that these plants, they flower every 12 years. Okay, meaning they flower once every 12 years. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
yes. So for example, if they flowered in 2006, then when would they flower next?
18. No, 12. 18 years.
So meaning after, just add 12 years to that. Okay, so they would be flowering after 12 years. Okay, and what is the time period that they flower in? So they flower, they produce flower, okay, in September. Okay, like from the month of September to October. This is the time period. Okay, and when they flower, they, they produce large number of flowers that, covers the hills and everything. Okay, so see what happens. Where are these plants from? They are found, actually they are found in the places like Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu. Okay, they are found in places like Kerala, Karnataka, and then there is Tamil Nadu. Okay, so, and like when they flower after 12 years, they covered all the hilly areas with flower, like, it is in such abundance. Okay,
Okay.
yes. So that is all with respect to the different types of plants depending upon their lifespan. And then we also discuss the different phases in the life cycle. Okay, now, do you have any doubts up till now?
Um,
Yes, you can go through the notes and ask me. Is there any doubt?
no, ma'am.
Okay, everything is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you having fun in the class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. As long as you're having fun, then I'm also very happy. Okay, now see, after that, we must know, see, there are, like in the case of animals, there are no animals that can, this whole phenomenon of, producing or reproducing once every 12 years or once every 50 years, this is not the case with animals, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So you can say that, like if we take the example of birds, or if we take the example of any different organism, so we can say that they lay their eggs throughout the year, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, there is no time period that, okay, this is October month, okay, now the birds will lay eggs, this is June, now the birds will not lay their eggs. It's not the case, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so in the animals, it is not the case. And even in humans, see, humans can also reproduce whenever they want, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now, see, you might know about the menstrual cycle that takes place in the females of human.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So that is menstrual. See, in case of now, we're talking about the humans. So, in case of humans, the females, or let's say the case of animals. Okay, in general, in the case of animals, the females undergo cyclical changes. Okay, they undergo cyclical changes. Okay, now see, if we are talking about the non-primates, okay, the non-primates, meaning what comes under non-primates, like um, the sheep, the cow, rat, deers, okay, they are known as non-primates. Okay, so non-primates, and you can write down the examples such as sheep, cow, rat, dog, deer is also the deer, tiger. All of these are the non-primates. Okay, So in the case of non-primates, the cyclical changes during reproduction. The cyclical changes during reproduction is estrus cycle. This is known as estrus cycle. So if somebody, if it comes in the question that like what type of cycle takes place in the case of non-primates, or what type of cycle takes place in the case of sheep, or they'll say in the case of cow. So you write estrus cycle. Okay.
Okay.
Now, this is for the non-primates. Then let's talk about the primates. The second is the primates. Now, in the case of primates, such as monkeys, okay, monkeys are primates, then apes are primates, and also humans. Okay, us humans are also primates. So here, the cyclical changes, they are known as menstrual cycle, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So you must know that the menstrual cycle, it does not take place in the case of sheep, dog, or tigers, but it does take place in the monkeys, ape, and human. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Now, see, if we are talking about the case of animals, see, in the body of animals, there is a lot of hormonal changes that are going on, isn't it? The hormones are involved when it comes to the process of reproduction. So, and because of the presence of hormones only, these two cycles take place, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now, let us talk about the events in sexual reproduction. What are the events that takes place in the case of sexual reproduction? See, first thing that we must know is that any organism that reproduces sexually or that uses the process of sexual reproduction, okay, that organism first has to get mature. Okay, reproduction cannot take place in the juvenile phase. It will only and only take place in the reproductive phase, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so the first criteria is for the organism to be mature. Now, after that, there are many events. Now, let us talk about those events. So, see, we can divide it into two categories. Or let's divide it into three categories. So, let's divide the events into the three categories. Now, what are the three categories? First is pre-fertilization. Pre-fertilization. Then there is fertilization. Okay. Then there is post fertilization. Okay. These are the three stages that we are dividing the sexual reproduction. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now let us talk about the first. That is pre. Now pre and post, you know what is the meaning of pre?
Like
Hmm?
before.
Yes, before. So pre-fertilization means all the activities that happen before the fertilization. Okay. Now, before the fertilization, two things happen. The first is gametogenesis, and the second event that takes place is gamete transfer. Okay. Now, if you look at the word that is gametogenesis, and if I say that genesis means production, so what do you think the production is of? The genesis of what? Look at the word and say, what can you see? The genesis of what?
Gamete.
Yes, gametes. So the genesis of gametes, whether it is a female gametes or the male gametes, so the formation of gametes is known as gametogenesis. Okay, so you write down the formation of gametes is known as gametogenesis. Then
The formation of.
the process of formation of gametes is known as gametogenesis.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now after that you write down there are two types of gametes. Okay, gametes, they are of two types. What are the two types? First is male gamete and then there is the female. Okay, so the two types of gametes are male and female gametes. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now see, if we are talking about the gametes, so the gametes are haploid in number. Okay, they are haploid cells. And what do I mean by haploid cell is that they have n number of probes. Okay, they don't
Yes,
have
ma'am.
double, they have just the n number of probes. So the gametes are haploid cells, and the two types of gametes are male gametes and the female. Now see, the gametes, they can differ in many ways. Okay, so you can say the two gametes, okay, that look the same. Okay, that look the same. So they are known as isogametes. Iso means same. Okay, isogametes. Okay, now isogametes, or you can also call them as the homogametes. Okay, homo means the same. Homogeneous, you might have heard in chemistry.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so homogamete. Okay, now the two gametes that are different from each other. Two gametes that are not the same, they are known as heterogametes. Okay, heterogametes are, they don't look the same. Okay, they are morphologically different. Is it clear?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. And for the heterogametes, the male gametes, the name of the male gametes, they are known as either antherozoids, okay, or they are very commonly known as the sperms. Okay, so sperms or antherozoids are the male gametes. Now talking about the female gametes. What is the female gamete known as? Do you know it?
Female gamete.
Female gamete is known as the egg or ovum.
Ovary.
Okay, these are the names. Now, apart from this, let us talk now. This is something like we are talking about the different types of the gamete, isn't it? Now, let
Yes.
us move forward and talk about the sexuality. Okay, the sexuality of our gamete. The sexuality of our gamete. See, when both the male and the female gamete, or you can say both the male and the female part is present in the same, if we are talking about the case of plants. Okay, so in the case of plants, okay, so when both male and female parts or both male and female reproductive parts are present in the same plant. Okay, if a plant has both the male and the female part, so that plant, this whole phenomenon, okay, is known as bisexual. Okay, that plant is a bisexual. Bi means two, sexual is meaning the female and the male sex. So bisexual plants are those plants wherein the male and the female reproductive parts are present in the same plant. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any doubts up till now?
Ma'am,
Oh,
we said about that animals they can have any time like reproduction, but then there is
what?
a ma'am. You said that reproduction in animals takes place like
Hmm.
any time if they want,
Hmm.
but then there is a particular time like mating time, was it?
Yeah. See, like in the cases of some organisms, a mating time is there, but that
Uh-huh.
does not mean that that organism will not reproduce for a year, isn't it? The time period, it can, the mating time is there and it comes frequently. Okay.
Okay. Mm.
Now, apart from that, okay, now we studied about the bisexual plants. Now see, if the male and the female reproductive structures or reproductive parts are present on the different plant, then it is known as unisexual plant. Okay, so under the unisexual plant, you write down when both the male and the female reproductive structures, when both male and the female reproductive structures are present on different plants, then this case is unisexual plant. Is it clear?
No, ma'am, can you explain it?
See, if you take one plant, okay, and if you look at that plant and the male and the female flowers, or okay, male and the female flowers, they are present in the same plant only, okay, then that is known as bisexual. It means two of the sex are present in one, male and female. Now, when
Oh,
only one is present, either the male or the female, then that is unisexual plant. If one plant has the male reproductive structures, then the other plant has female's reproductive structure. Okay?
yes, ma'am.
Yes. So that is how, like, what unisexual and bisexual. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Okay. Now, let us talk about some other conditions or some other terms. Okay, see, in the case of fungi, in the case of fungi and also some plants, okay, what happens? There are terms that are, used such as homothallic. Okay, the term is homothallic and monoecious. Okay, homothallic and monoecious. See, this is one term. And then there is heterothallic and dioecious. So first of all, if we talk about the homothallic and monoecious, so this is the term. It is used to denote bisexual relation. Okay. So if you say bisexual, it means it is homothallic or monoecious. Okay. So it denotes, it is just the terminology. Okay. It denotes bisexual condition. Okay. Now, the second is heterothallic and dioecious. Okay. In this condition, what happens? It denotes, what will it denote?
Asexual.
Will denote unisexual.
Unisexual.
Yes, unisexual condition. You've understood unisexual and bisexual?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any doubts up till now?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So, for example, if we are talking about the unisexual plant, okay, if we are talking about the unisexual plant, first you tell me what is a unisexual plant?
So when both the male and female are present in different plants, like only one of them.
When both or only one?
No, when both are in different.
Both are in different plants.
Mm.
Yes, exactly. So that is unisexual plant. Okay, very good. Now see, if the unisexual plant, for example, if that one plant, okay, if it contains, if one plant contains only the male part, okay, only the male reproductive, only the male reproductive structures, then that is known as staminate. Okay, that plant is staminate. Yes, it is unisexual and it is staminate. It is denoting that only the male parts are there. Okay, now if one plant contains only the female reproductive structures, only the female reproductive structures, then those plants, they are known as pistillate. Okay, they are known as pistillate. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Are you noting it down?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell me when you're done.
Done, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Now let us move forward and after that we'll see. Okay, let us look at some of the examples. Okay, so you write down examples of monoecious plants. What are monoecious plants? Hmm? What are the
Monoecious.
monoecious? Hmm. Tell me.
That have both a male and female in the same.
That is monoecious. Very good. Very nice. That is the bisexual condition, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, very good. So the bisexual plants or the monoecious plants, they are, let's see the examples. So cucurbits and the coconut. These two are monoecious plants. Whereas, let us look at the examples of dioecious. And dioecious, what will be the other name for dioecious plants?
Unisexual.
Dioecious, yes, unisex. Very good. You're catching it very quickly. Very nice. It's very confusing, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I can understand that, but you're catching up very nicely. Okay. So if we are talking about the example of the monoecious plants, or you can write it in the bracket, bisexual. then the examples are cucurbits and coconut. And in the case of unisexual or the dioecious plants, then the papaya and the date palm are the examples. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, now this was about plants. Okay. There are some conditions that takes place in the animals also. Okay. So if in the case of animals, if all the species are either male or all of them are either female, then they are known as unisexual, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, and when the species contains both the reproductive organ in one, then that is bisexual. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. Now see, let us look at the examples. Examples of the bisexual animals. Examples of the bisexual animals. So what are those? First of all, you'll write down sponges. Okay, sponges. You remember porifera?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, porifera, the member of porifera was sponges only, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So for the sponges, the leeches, the tapeworm, okay, all of these, they are the bisexual organisms. It means that they will contain the female and the male reproductive organs in one, okay, and the the bisexual animals, they are also known as hermaphrodites. Hermaphrodites. Okay. The other name for bisexual, like how the other name for bisexual here was monoecious, but it was in the case of plants. If we are talking about the animals, then it is hermaphrodite. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now let us look at the examples of unisexual organism or unisexual animal. Can you tell me any example that comes to your mind?
Unisexual animal?
Hmm? Okay. One example is cockroach. Okay.
Okay.
And also humans, isn't it?
Yes.
Humans, like one organism is male and one is female, but then there are other some types of humans like the transgenders. They have both the sexes in one, but rest assured, all the humans are unisexual, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So this is all about the bisexual, the sexuality of organisms, the sexuality of the plants and the animals. Now, do you have any doubts up till now?
No, ma'am.
No doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So after that, let us look at how
Ma'am,
the
isn't
cell,
there a name for unisexual animals?
what?
Like for bisexual animals, you gave us hermaphrodites.
Yeah, for unisexual, no, there is no other name for unisexual. It's just unisexual, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, only the bisexual has the name, which is hermaphrodites, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now, after that, let us talk about the cell division. See, I told you that the gametogenesis, it means the gamete formation. Okay, so the formation of gamete, it takes place by the cell division. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
yes. And when the cells divide, okay, then gametes are produced and those gametes are haploid in nature. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And the gametes are produced from the parent's body, isn't it? So the parent's body can either be diploid or it can be haploid. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
But the gametes will always, forever it will be like haploid. Okay. Gametes will always and always be haploid, whereas the parent can be haploid or they can be diploid. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Um, okay. So now what I mean by haploid is only one set of like chromosomes they have. And if I talk about the,
Diploid is 2.
yeah, two sets of chromosomes. Yes, very good. So you write down the formation of gametes. The formation of gametes takes place by cell division. The gametes that are formed are male and female gametes.
Formed are male and female.
Gametes, full stop. Then you write down all the gametes are haploid, full stop. Okay, then you write down the cell division, during gamete formation, the cell division during gamete formation can take place, the cell division during gamete formation can take place in a parent which is either haploid or diploid.
Which is either haploid or diploid.
Yes. Meaning the parent can be haploid or diploid, but the gametes which are formed will always and always be haploid. Okay?
Oh, okay, ma'am.
Do you have any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now, you give the heading examples of haploid plant body, or you write down the example of haploid plants, or wait, you write down haploid organisms. Okay, example of haploid organisms.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you write down uh, monerans, monerans, monerans,
MO.
monerans, 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 monerans. After
Okay.
that, you write down fungi. Okay, then you write down algae, and after that, you write down bryophytes. Okay, so all these organisms, they have haploid body. Okay, now let us see what are the examples of diploid body. Okay, diploid parent body. So in the case of diploid parent body, you write down the examples are pteridophytes, pteridophytes. Then there is gymnosperms, gymnosperms. Then there is angiosperm. Okay, and after that you write down human beings. Okay, so all of these are the examples of diploid body. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any doubts up till now?
No, ma'am.
Is there anything you want to ask me?
No, ma'am.
Oh, very good. Now see. Now, after we have talked about all the haploid, diploid, now see, if the parent body is haploid, okay, you write down if the parent body is haploid, if the parent body is haploid, then the gamete formation, the gamete formation takes place by mitosis.
Ma'am, 1 minute. Call is coming.
Then,
Yes, ma'am. Can you repeat it?
yes, if if the parent body is haploid,
Yes, ma'am.
then the gamete formation, then the gamete formation will take place by gamete formation will take place by mitosis.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then change the line and you write if the parent body is diploid, then the gamete formation, then the gamete formation will take place by meiosis.
Yes, ma'am.
Then
Yes, ma'am.
yes, and even if like whether it is mitosis or whether it is meiosis, what will the gametes be? The gametes will always be haploid or diploid.
Can you repeat the question, ma'am?
The question is whether the formation of gamete is done by mitosis or it is done by meiosis. The gametes will always be haploid or diploid. My question is that.
Diploid.
No, the gametes will always, forever, will always be haploid. Okay?
Okay.
Yes, they will always be haploid. Why? Because when two haploids will come together, then only a zygote, which is diploid, will be formed. Okay?
Okay.
Yes, that is why always remember the gametes will always be haploid in nature. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Now, up till here, the gamete formation or gametogenesis is done. Okay? The gametes are being formed and everything is completed. Now, after the gametes are formed, they have to be transferred, isn't it? So the next step during the pre-fertilization event is the gamete transfer, isn't it? It needs to be transferred, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Why do you think they need to be transferred?
Because they're only having one.
They don't have
Means to fully
wings.
reproduce.
See, obviously, they have to be transferred. Why? Because so that they can physically meet each other, isn't it? Because then only the fusion can take place, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, um, this is the reason why the gamete transfer has to take place. Okay. So, you write down the transfer of the male and female gametes is important. Okay. The the transfer of male and female gametes is important so as to so as to bring them together for fusion.
Yes, ma'am.
Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And that is it for today's class. Do you have any doubts up till now?
No.
There are no doubts? Are you
No.
sure?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then in the next class, we'll continue from gamete transfer only. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Then you will be provided with the homework. You can do the homework and send me the picture. Okay?
Now only or will there be a deadline?
Hmm?
Now only or will there be a deadline?
Now only?
Or will there be another deadline?
No, there is like no such deadline, but obviously before the class, you submit the homework. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. And like if you have any doubts, like, okay, and after this class is over, like you can go read your NCRT. Okay, read your NCRT book line by line. And then you mark wherever you are having doubts or difficulty in understanding. Okay. And then in the next class, I'll clear your doubts. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So that's it for today. Now you can go read the NCRT and then relax. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, is there
Oh,
no assessments?
assignments.
No assessment.
You mean tests?
Yeah. After
Yeah.
classes.
Fortnight tests are there. So when that will happen, you will be provided with the syllabus, okay? And then you'll have to take the test, okay?
Then after class, like those quiz type tests is not there, ma'am.
After test, what?
Quiz type, like after class, saying